Less than 1% of billionaires are black women, and today we're taking you inside the exclusive world they've built. These 8 women didn't just achieve wealth, they redefined it. From private islands to sprawling estates, their properties scream iconic. But how did they get there? Stay tuned as we expose their secrets to building empires and wealth beyond imagination. Number 1. Jada Pinkett Smith. By what means does a young lady who was brought up on the rough streets of Baltimore come to own a mansion that is worth $11 million and is nestled away in Hidden Hills, California, where A-list neighbors include Kardashians and tech billionaires? It's not simply that Jada Pinkett Smith became famous, she also became wealthy on her own. From growing up in a household with only one parent to co-owning a massive real estate portfolio with Will Smith, Jada has transformed her early struggles into a wealthy and influential individual. That house that costs $11 million? There is only one piece of the empire. The Hidden Hills compound is not a house. Rather, it is a stronghold of generational wealth, since it features a pool designed in the style of a resort, a recording studio, tennis courts, and private hiking paths. However, the actual power move was control, which consisted of founding 100% woman productions and securing back-end income. Jada's breakout in The Nutty Professor was the initial spark that ignited the earnings. Not only did she make money, but she also grew, flipped properties, and made investments. Presently, her name is not only listed in the credits, it is also included on trust documents and deeds. While Jada built her empire brick by brick with savvy investments and industry moves, Michelle Obama took a different route. Number 2. Michelle Obama. What occurs when a young lady from the south side of Chicago finds herself fortunate enough to stay in a mansion on Martha's Vineyard that costs $11.75 million and features ocean vistas and presidential privacy? The ascension of Michelle Obama is not just about history, it is also about high-value assets, book agreements for millions of dollars, and commanding power and authority on a global scale. As a child, she was brought up in a humble home with 2 stories, and her parents instilled in her the importance of working hard. The establishment of that foundation would eventually result in the establishment of an empire that is founded on intellectual capital and unrivaled brand power. At Princeton and Harvard Law, Michelle was not just pursuing degrees. She was also constructing the pedigree that today serves as the foundation for a speaking career that is worth many millions of dollars. From high-profile careers in law and community leadership to receiving the most iconic address in the world, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, every step of her life contributed to equity. From the confines of private jets and guarded estates, her famous quip, "You had to work twice as hard to be taken half as seriously," can now be heard echoing over the world. Becoming Michelle's memoir did more than just inspire her. It also brought in more than $65 million in revenues, which immediately elevated her to the position of being one of the highest-paid authors currently living. This fortune was essential in securing their mansion on Martha's Vineyard, which was a seaside property that encompassed 29 acres and featured vaulted ceilings, secluded beaches, and ample space for the generational wealth to flourish. As she moved from the south side to the beach, Michelle Obama reimagined what it means for black people to be successful at the highest levels of the financial system. While Michelle turned words into wealth and reshaped the meaning of influence, another billionaire was quietly turning catwalks into capital. But before moving on, I would like you to subscribe the channel and like the video. That will mean a lot to us. Number 3. Tyra Banks. How was it that a supermodel was able to parlay her popularity on the runway into a real estate empire? Beginning her career in Inglewood, California, and eventually settling into a mansion in Pacific Palisades that cost $7.5 million, Tyra Banks was able to parlay her fashion celebrity into multi-million-dollar equity positions. By the time she was 17 years old, she was already walking the runways of Paris, and in 1997, She made history by becoming the first black woman to appear on the cover of the swimsuit issue of Sports Illustrated. However, Tyra did not stop at becoming a global superstar. She researched the industry as if she were an investor, and she realized early on that true power comes from ownership. She did not merely become another face in the fashion industry. Rather, she seized charge. Because it was syndicated in more than 100 countries and brought in millions of dollars in license and advertising money, America's next top model became a cash generator. Because of this success, a broad portfolio was established, which included investments in real estate flips in Los Angeles, as well as ventures into the beauty and technology industries. With the intention of expanding her financial methods and honing her investor attitude, she even enrolled in Harvard Business School. This was not for the title of Harvard Business School. Her residence in Pacific Palisades, which she purchased for $7.5 million, is more than just a house. It is a trophy of astute financial decisions, featuring ocean vistas, elegant construction, and renovations that are environmentally sensitive. It exemplifies Tyra's ability to strike a balance between luxury and legacy building. It wasn't enough for her to simply acquire wealth. She also studied it, climbed it, and eventually secured it. At this point, Tyra Banks is the epitome of high-end reinvention, manifesting herself everywhere from catwalks to compound estates. Tyra turned the spotlight into ownership, but the next person takes that transformation to an entirely different level. Number 4. Oprah Winfrey. Can you tell me what it takes to become one of the wealthiest ladies in the world, with over a dozen luxury estates, to prove that you are one of the richest? Oprah Winfrey's path from a small town in Mississippi to a house in Montecito is a model for how to transform influence into money that can be passed down from generation to generation. In the past, she wore potato sacks as clothing because she was raised in poverty. In spite of this, her voice was still able to attract attention. She was already reading out loud in church by the time she was 3 years old, which was a precursor to the storytelling empire that would one day make her a millionaire. It was not just her talent that led to her success, but also her timing and her ownership. Following her stints as a news anchor in Nashville and Baltimore, Oprah began her career on a national scale in 1984 with the launch of The Oprah Winfrey Show. But rather than merely hosting, she negotiated a stake, which meant that she would not receive a salary but rather power. This commercial acumen enabled her to establish a media empire through Harpo Productions, which resulted in the production of historical masterpieces like As The Color Purple and the establishment of her very own cable network. Although every transaction resulted in millions of dollars, it was her real estate vision that established her as a member of the elite. At the present time, her portfolio consists of more than a dozen estates located in Montecito, Maui, Colorado, and other locations. The jewel in the crown, the property is worth at more than $100 million and spans 70 acres in Montecito. It features rose gardens, private theaters, and magnificent ocean vistas. It is not merely a house. Rather, it is a testament to an independent financial life. Every aspect of Oprah Winfrey's life, from her front porch to her position on the Forbes list, is constructed on square footage and strategy. From television empires to real estate kingdoms, the climb continues. But this next icon turned chart-topping hits into billion-dollar blueprints. Number 5. Rihanna. How did Rihanna go from singing in Barbados to owning a $13.8 million Beverly Hills mansion in one of LA's most exclusive zip codes? Born Robin Rihanna Fenty, she grew up in a modest home in St. Michael, Barbados. But today, her name is attached to a $1.4 billion fortune. Discovered at 16 and signed by Jay-Z, Rihanna's hits like Umbrella and Diamonds made her a global icon. But behind the music was a mastermind plotting generational wealth. In 2017, she made her biggest financial move, launching Fenty Beauty with LVMH. With 40 foundation shades at launch, it wasn't just inclusive, it was disruptive. That strategy paid off fast. By 2023, Fenty Beauty Beauty was the world's top celebrity cosmetics brand, valued in the billions. Rihanna wasn't chasing trends. She was building empires in markets others ignored. She doubled down with Savage x Fenty. Her lingerie brand focused on real bodies and real diversity. Its $1 billion valuation and her 30% stake added tens of millions to her bottom line. These weren't side hustles. They were strategic investments powering her billionaire status. The result? A sleek $13.8 million Beverly Hills estate with glass walls, an infinity pool, and panoramic views, just minutes from Rodeo Drive. Surrounded by A-list neighbors, it's more than luxury. It's proof that Rihanna didn't just make hits, she made history. Now let's shift to Nigeria, where another woman built a fortune in a very different industry. One turned pop stardom into power plays in Beverly Hills. Another rewrote the rules of wealth on an entirely different continent. Number 6. Folorunsho Alakija. How can a lady make a fortune worth billions of dollars while simultaneously revolutionizing the oil business in Nigeria? For Folorunsho Alakija, it was not simply a matter of tearing down barriers. Rather, it was a matter of asserting ownership in one of the most valuable industries in the world. Her true financial revolution did not occur until much later, despite the fact that she began her career in fashion by creating Supreme stitches in the 1980s. Her design firm became well known among Nigeria's most influential people, but even at that time, Alakija was already planning more significant moves that would put her among the wealthiest women in the world. She took a courageous step in 1993 when she applied for a license to explore for oil, which was a move that was nearly unheard of for women at the time. As a result of her efforts, she was able to gain the rights to what would eventually become the Agbami oil field, which is considered to be one of the most valuable reserves in West Africa. The agreement between Alakija and Chevron resulted in the acquisition of a $50 million share in OML 127 through FAMFA Oil. The transformation of a government license into a cash-flowing asset worth $1 billion was a brilliant move that would result in long-term wealth. Her empire's expansion was not limited to oil. Banking, private aviation, and high-end real estate were some of the areas that Alakija moved into. Her mansion in Lagos is a crown jewel. It is reputedly one of the most costly private residences in Nigeria. It is adorned with imported marble, gold accents, and cutting-edge security technology. The specific amounts have not been published. However, the worth and reputation of the item are reflective of the extent of her influence. Alakija did not merely shift industries, she ruled them. Her business ventures ranged from oil rigs to custom gowns. Hope Dworachik-Smith, a woman who is turning beauty into billion-dollar equity, is the next person we will discuss. While one built her empire from oil and ambition, the next built hers at the intersection of beauty and billion-dollar legacy. Number 7. Hope Dworachik-Smith. What is it like to marry into one of the wealthiest families in the United States of America while simultaneously establishing a name that is independent of the family? Hope Dworachik-Smith is a person who lives that reality, which finds her at the nexus of glamour, wealth, and goals. She began her career as a model, but it wasn't simply with fashion shows. She was born and raised in a little town in Texas. Her early job offered her the opportunity to hone her talents in branding, public appearance, and market perception, which she would subsequently put to use not only in terms of style, but also in terms of strategy. The day she tied the knot with Robert F. Smith, the founder of Vista Equity Partners and a rich investor, her life underwent a profound transformation. Hope did not disappear into the background once she was immediately associated to a fortune worth $12 billion. Instead of doing that, she made advantage of her elevated platform to carve out her own legacy by striking a balance between philanthropy, entrepreneurship, and influence. A deliberate presence in high society, she is someone who understands the nuances of wealth, media, and the maintenance of heritage. She is more than just a spouse. Although a significant portion of her portfolio portfolio is kept under wraps, Hope's lifestyle reveals a great deal. Her estate in Aspen, Colorado, which is a beautiful palace nestled in the Rocky Mountains, is the epitome of elegant elegance. Featuring ultra-private amenities, contemporary architecture made of wood and glass, and breathtaking vistas, this residence is more than simply a residence. It is a signal, an opulent hideaway surrounded by affluence. Whether it be in the realm of branding or family relationships worth billions of dollars, Hope Dorachik Smith is a living example of how grace and empire can coexist. One mastered the art of legacy within luxury. Now we turn to a woman who redefined wealth on her own terms, far from the spotlight she once shared. Number 8. Suzanne McFadden. How did Suzanne McFadden quietly carve out a life of luxury, art, and wealth after stepping out of a billionaire's shadow? With a deep-rooted passion for culture, Suzanne transformed her post-divorce chapter into one defined by elegance and personal power. While her early years remain mostly private, her eye for underrepresented artists and commitment to creative spaces shaped her rise as a respected figure in elite art circles. Her divorce from billionaire Robert F. Smith wasn't just a legal separation. It marked a financial and personal rebirth. With access to substantial wealth, Suzanne no longer lived in anyone's orbit. She poured her energy into building a sophisticated life on her own terms, quickly becoming a force in the global art world. She wasn't just buying pieces, she was curating voices, amplifying creators historically overlooked by traditional collectors. That vision comes alive in her multi-million-dollar Austin estate, an architectural statement nestled in one of Texas's most affluent neighborhoods. Designed with museum-like precision, the home blends minimalist luxury with bold artistic flair. Floor-to-ceiling windows flood the space with light, while gallery walls showcase hand-picked contemporary works. From sculptural staircases to bespoke installations, every corner reflects affluence and taste. Suzanne's residence isn't just stylish, it's symbolic of how wealth can be used to express identity and purpose. Greatness doesn't arrive overnight. It's built with vision, resilience, and the courage to take strategic risks. These 8 women from vastly different beginnings didn't just gain wealth, they transformed industries, shattered barriers, and inspired countless others. Their stories are proof that success is multifaceted, rooted in bold decisions and lasting impact. Which of their journeys resonated with you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories of transformation, empowerment, and legacy building. Remember, wealth isn't just about the number in your bank account, it's about the legacy you choose to leave behind.